This conference will now be recorded.
You ready? Okay, it's 10 o'clock and the special town council meeting will come to order. The first thing on the agenda is the public comments. So anybody that has any public comments, each public comment should be no more than 5 minutes. Please state your name and where you live. Good morning.
Good morning, council, mayor. My name is Bill Kinkin, 1312 North Dogwood. I know what you're here for, and if I hope the rumors I'm hearing are not true, that you're going to buy a 40-year-old building or lease a 40-year-old building and stick a bunch of money in it. That's a rumor I've heard. I don't know if it's true, but we're got to look at our financial position. We've gone through a lot of money for the pier, which I think is justified. I like what you've done so far, but and we've got to do something for our buildings. But putting a building across 17 is just not a good idea, because I come to these meetings and every time I come up here, I come usually in the golf cart. I can't get across 17. I don't seldom ever go across 17. So anyway, that's what I said. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to modify the agenda to put the Civics Plus business item as item A and move building options presentation to item B.
Second.
Okay, any discussion before we do that? All right, Ms. Scholes,
Yes.
Holder,
Yes.
Keating,
Yes.
Pellegrino,
Yes.
Drake,
Yes.
and myself is yes. So that moves, and we will be moving business item A and B. We'll be switching them around. So the next thing on the agenda is the Civics Plus. Mr. Shanahan.
Good morning, everybody, and good morning to everybody out there. It's nice that we have people come to these. And we have actually, just so you know, it's a workshop. We've asked for it to be live streamed because we want all this information out to our citizens. I think it's real important that all the citizens see exactly what we're doing when we're doing it. And of course, that's what you guys do.
Can I get you to come up near the microphone so
And
that
I'm-
the people at home can hear?
There you go. That helps in then getting that information, I guess. And I apologize for that. We're going to start off by talking about Civic Plus. As you remember, y'all came up with 5 external and 5 internal goals. And goal number 3, and it's not a priority, it's just the number that it came out to be, you had web page update. Now, we think this is an asset that's going to not only help the town and have a lot more information that we can get out to our citizens so they know what's going on, but in reference to a marketing plan, Highway 17 development, events, calendar, customer service, PIO marketing, the community working together, and the peer financial activity. Those are 80 or 10 goals that we think this will help with. So with that, we'll jump into it. Basically what we did is I had some staff look at Civic Plus to see what we were looking for and if we could come up with something that would suit our needs. And so the goal of this process was to create the right solution for our website. We wanted to create online forms. We wanted to provide sign-up opportunities for our citizens so they can receive whatever information that we have that's available. We wanted to be able to share critical up-to-date information with our citizens. And we wanted to showcase that information requested by our citizens, because if they wanted it, someone else wanted it, we want to make sure everybody saw it. And we wanted something that was smart, had a layout of choices and would make it easy for the citizens to navigate and get the information that they wanted. And as you see, there is a theme there, making sure our citizens get the information that they need. So what does this program do? Number one, civic engagement. It has an alert center, which was where we post emergency and important information that needs to get out ASAP. We have a blog, and we can post information on community topics. We have a calendar. And then I like this, we have a citizen request tracker. And what that basically does is when a citizen requests information, identifies a problem or anything like that, it shows us where they are in the process. It gives us the ability to get back to them. And it gives you the ability to see that we're actually doing something with the issue that was brought to our attention. Has My Dashboard, which allows users to personalize their dashboard and stay updated on news, events, and information. So when they create this dashboard, they will tell it what type of information they want it to receive. It will not be just everything in its world. We think that's important. It has News Flash, which posts organizational news, and it has Notify Me. And they have to actually request to get on this or fill out whatever the process says to do. And then once they do that, whenever we have issues coming up, be it a hurricane, be it an update on work that's being done in the town, everybody that's applied for this will get that information. So, it helps us keep our citizens up to date on what we're doing day to day. It has a document manager center. And basically what happens, we have an agenda, we create and display the agendas and the minutes. Then we can archive them. We can store those agendas, those minutes, newsletters, and any data-driven documents. These documents are housed in one central location. We can create custom forms, be it a customer survey or some type of form we need to get some type of yeah, any of our processes basically. And then of course it'll have a staff directory, so citizens will know how to get in touch with the people they need to ensure whatever they need done gets done. It will have information and navigation. So what it'll do is frequently asked questions. If there are questions that are asked over and over again, we'll put them out there so people don't have to call us. They don't have to drive all the way up here to ask a simple question. If they get on there, they can see it. And of course, it'll have graphic links. You'll see on different pages, it'll have pictures and things like that, which will take you to another page and show you whatever it is you're trying to find. Events, info events, again, it will display important information. And then of course, it'll have quick links where you can get where you need to go to get the information you need to have. Department specific activities, it will create, organize, and track departmental activities. It will showcase community facilities and allow reservations online. It'll post jobs, it'll post bids, those type of things. We will not only be able to post them, we'll also be able to track them and make sure that it's being done right. Administrative features. It will have an administrative dashboard, which is the home base for the messages and quick access to activities. Content scheduling version, and you have auto publish and auto expire. We're not going to rely on someone coming in and taking something off, changing information. It'll do it for us automatically. The dynamic breadcrumbs basically shows us who's using the website and what they're doing with it and where they are in the site. It's a good history for us so we can help folks. And then of course you can add things such as calendars, FAQs, news flash, and they call them dynamic page components because you put them on, and while you're reading through it, you click on it and it'll give you, if it's a calendar, it'll give you the calendar update of everything in reference to that topic. history log. It'll track changes made to the website, who's been at the website, access to the website, that sort of thing. Intranet will allow employees to log in and access non-public resources and information. And there'll be levels of permission. We want to make sure that if you're getting into this, you can only get in where you need to be if you're an employee. You know, if you're working public works and you're putting something online, you don't really need to be going into the finance module and changing numbers. So it makes it very secure that way. And then some of the things that we like that will be on this, and I think the most important one is the automatic alt tags, which is it allows ADA compliance. I know in Florida right now that what's going on, people are getting on these town and county websites there, and they're finding these people are getting on and they're basically looking at them to make sure they're ADA compliant. And if they're not, they're suing the town or the county or the state in that area. And there's been several cases, and there have been several local governments that have actually shut down the website and are paying big amounts of money to get them updated because of this. And that's going on today. Well, it was going on about 4 months ago when I read about it. Design essentials. This allows staff to build, modify, and manage the look. We don't want other people deciding what we need to look like. Once it's done, we'll be in charge of that, and we don't have to pay for it. You have link redirect where you can go to other places. You have live edit where you can fix things. You have maps that you can put on there. We'll have a main navigational menu. We'll have a site search section that automatically indexes everything that you're looking at. So it makes it easy to get where you want to get. It's printer friendly, responsive design, social media, and it has about 100 languages in it.
It conforms to whatever device you're looking at.
That's what I was going to mention.
So if you're on your phone, you'll see the whole website.
Thank you. Oh, and then some of the other things that it has in there, you have audio eye manage. And again, this is the ADA criteria. It makes it so people that have specific handicaps can still use this website. And then we have credit card processing, so we can pay bills online and it's secure, and it will be able to handle all of those different departments that collect money, which gives us a really good way of tracking the money that's coming in and where it's going. And hopefully it'll some of those thoughts that are out there go away because we'll be able to, show everything that's happened. And then you have Civic Send, and this is so we can get general communication or emergency communication out to everybody as quickly as possible. Jump in.
David, just a little bit more in detail. Residents will be able to pick what department they want to quote unquote follow. So if they follow the police and Chief Hoffman put something on, they'll get a text immediately saying that his website's been updated, or email, whichever way they request. So they will get notified every time.
Yeah, and that's the important thing, transparency. We want our citizens to know what we're doing. We want them to know why we're doing it, because as we've all said, we spend their money and they have a right to know.
One other improvement I want to highlight is that unlike today, we have certain forms online, but they're PDFs. You have to print them out. You have to fill them out with your pen. You have to scan them back into your computer or physically bring it back to town hall. This one, you can access the form, fill it out and submit it all on your computer. It's a truly online interaction. It's not, yeah, we have a document available, but you still got to print it out. This is all online. You fill it out, you hit submit, and it goes right to the department that needs it.
As long as you have a computer, and we have a lot of residents that don't. So how are we going to deal with that? Because they deserve the same courtesy.
And I agree
Same
with
way we
that.
do it today.
Yeah, we could actually set up a computer in customer service someplace where people can come in and look at it. In addition to that, the libraries have computers. at the
Right,
services.
but a lot of them do not do computers, Bill. And they will not, they don't even have smartphones. I mean, they have the regular old house phone. So, I mean, I think this is great and wonderful because the majority of the residents do, but we've also got to consider the minority of our residents. They're still entitled to this information.
And I agree, it will still go out to the media like we do.
Mhm.
And because those type of folks that don't have any of that, I mean, that's what they rely on. They rely on the radios, they rely on the TVs. they rely on-
Newsletters, yes, yes, they do.
And so we can't get away from that. That's-
Right.
Yeah, and
Just want to make sure everybody's informed.
yes, ma'am, we don't leave anybody outside.
Can we do something as far as, you know, it used to be that our newsletter that we sent out quarterly, we're doing quarterly now, but putting that in the mail to the residents.
We could do that. Yeah, if we have them request it, give us an address, maybe we can market that and we can get it out to them. Now, there will be a cost that.
Yeah, that could get
I don't
expensive
know
real
what
quick.
it is,
Well,
but-
in my, you know, I'm not familiar with it, but in the past, on the newsletters, when they went out, that we had advertising in there. And the advertising would pay for the thing. So if someone like the Golden Egg wanted to put in a,
I might have to sit with the attorney on that.
Little, that's very, because we've got local town, we don't let another town that comes here on the system. That's probably gonna drive everything.
Yeah, we have to look at that and not being disrespectful to anyone in the past, but if they did it in the past, they might not have been following the rules, so.
well, I mean,
Right.
that's a
We'll
way to
look at it.
guarantee that the people that don't have computers at least get something in the mail and they know what's going on.
And I agree, and we can do that, and it just might be, it might be something that the town itself would have to pay for. But let's be honest, the citizens actually pay for it because they give us taxes, so yeah.
Right.
Yeah, we'll look at it.
Well, but for those citizens that don't have access to computers or emails or anything else, I mean, however they're getting their information today was not via the existing website. So however they get the information today, they'll continue to get it even after we upgrade the website.
And I
Because none
agree
of
with-
that's changing.
Yeah, and I agree with that, but I think Debbie hit the nail on the head. I think if we can do it better than we're doing it now, we should.
Yes.
Yeah, and we will look at that. I think good point. And it takes about 6 months if you decide to move forward with this, to do this. When you initiate something like this, it takes 2 to 4 weeks. You have a project kickoff meeting, you plan your schedule, analyze the deliverable, client deliverable submission, design discovery meeting, content process meeting, which takes 4 to 6 weeks. Design and configure takes 6 to 10 weeks. You design concept development, design concept meeting, content development, agendas and minutes, migration, and website completion. Optimize, basically, we can make sure it works and it does what it's supposed to do, and we haven't missed anything. And that takes 1 to 2 weeks. Educate the employees that are going to be using this. That takes 1 to 2 weeks. I think that's real important. We got a lot of pages that today we're learning as we go into them because there's no training there. So I think this is real important. Launch would take 2 to 4 weeks. And again, that's checking to make sure that it works. I'm not sure what the process is. I'm sure they would probably have it going out to certain people just to have them ride it and see what happens and find things that aren't working or things that are slow and make it work better. And then once we're completely happy with it, go live. And so,
One other thing, if I may, is if we would so choose, right now, we've got the surfsidebeach.org that is primarily town operations oriented, events and things out of town hall. We've also got a web page that is maintained that's called visitsurfsidebeach.com that we are also managing, administering, however you want to put that. This platform, should we choose, could replace both of those so that there's a one-stop shop, whether you want to look at visitor information, restaurants, hotels, advertisements, those kind of things, link with the town events and marketing promotions. But it could all be in one place with just your quick links as to what you're interested in.
And that is true, and we've got folks that were paying to put things on Facebook, and all that goes away.
Right.
So if you all wanted to do this, the total cost of one-time fee to build this program for those 6 months would be $30,393. The annual fee for maintenance and training and upgrades and those sort of things would be $11,839.85. So a grand total of $42,232.86. And then from the second year out, of course, the annual fee would be your yearly payment from the second to the 5th year. In the 6th year, they talked about a 3% increase, but of course, we'd have to get back with them and talk about that. However, if you didn't want to pay the total cost of $30,393 at one time and do the annual payments at $11,000, you could spread that over the first 4 years. And that means for 4 years, you would have a fee of $19,093.25. And then in the 5th year, it would drop back down to the $11,839, which is that annual fee. And then again, in the 6th year, they would probably come back to it and say, hey, we want to, cost of service, cost of this, cost of social, all that stuff. And we'll probably they'll probably ask us to increase it in the 6th year.
3% based on the 11,839.
Yes. Because,
Well,
everything's built.
Okay.
And during the year, the maintenance fees and any upgrades and things like that would be a part of that.
well, and we negotiated this as an improvement to what their original proposal was. Their standard practice, they have annual contracts, and that annual rate goes up 5% every year. We've been able to negotiate with them to hold it steady for the first 4 years and only increase it 3% a year thereafter. So this is a much better arrangement than what they originally proposed or is their normal course of business. So this is also a benefit to the town.
Yes, ma'am. And that's what we have. And again, this is one of your goals, and I think it directly helps with the other goals. And so if this is something you would like us to move forward with, we can move forward with the contract for you, or we can look at it at a different time. But again, it's a goal.
Mr. Mayor.
Go ahead.
Thanks, Mr. Shanahan. It seems like a great platform to disseminate information and all, but we did not budget for this in this year's budget, as far as I know. Is that correct?
This is true.
And we're basically making a $76,000 commitment over the first 4 years, and then what, 12,000 after that. To me, this is something that should be discussed during the budget process going into the budget, and we should include it in the budget if we want to do it. I think with the whole building issue and the unknowns with those costs and the pier, I don't think we should be taking on any budget amendments right now.
Mr. Mayor, my only comment back to that is there are additional costs that we're offsetting. So this isn't a total add to the budget. Yes, it's an incremental increase, but there are certain costs that are in the budget that will be offset to this total increase. So, I mean, it is a incremental increase to the budget, but it's not this total value.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, ma'am.
then maybe we need to see those figures if we're going to change the budget. You know, what the actual cost is going to be to offset, like Ms. Keating said.
I see Mr. Shanahan saying that he can get us those numbers.
We can get those numbers, because there's several different areas that the come from, so we'll have to put them together. Sorry, we'll have to put them together, but, yeah, I don't have them right now, but.
Mr.
We'll
Mayor?
get those numbers and, because.
Yeah,
Yeah, this
Mr.
is,
Fuller.
Yes, I sat in on a presentation of this, and this is a system that is used by, I think, 4,000 cities, towns across the country and other countries. And they are the expert in working with towns and cities on giving citizens what they need.
that's right.
And I was very impressed. And the cost here, I knew it wasn't budget, but this cost, you can't get much less than this for a computer site. This is nothing compared to what I'm used to in my past experience. This is really, this is dirt cheap compared to that. So
Okay, I think we've heard him.
Um,
Mr. Drake, you have anything to say?
I'm very much in favor of it. I mean, town of Surfside, we're a very small community, but I think we need to be looking proactive in the fact that we need to be up to date with the way we're doing our paperwork, where we communicate with people, and to be able to get the message across from Bill Shanahan and from us as council too. So the fee's there, but it's part of the cost of doing business that we're going to have to eventually do now or do later. And the price that's been negotiated sounds pretty good.
Mr. Mayor, I agree. It's a great program and the cost of this is very, very cheap. I did technology for 30 years and what these people are offering, that is very, very reasonable. I just think we owe it to our residents to come up with what cost we already have built in the budget that will come off of this bottom line and we can show them, you know, that we are being mindful of their tax dollars, especially with everything else we have going on in this town right now with that pier costing more and more than what we anticipated and looking at mold problems in buildings. So I would just like to get those numbers and be able to say, this is only what it's going to cost to bring us up to date in technology. And I just think we owe that to them.
Mr. Mayor, I mean, I agree, we can get those numbers, but just, you know, what I know about the budget, there's several $1,000s a year that we pay for our existing website that will go away. There's tens of thousands of dollars a year that we pay outside individuals to update websites and so forth. So, I mean, we're saving well more than $11,000 a year in what we're spending already.
And I
Yeah.
agree with you, but we need to show our residents that, you know, we are being mindful of your monies and we are trying to bring you into this century, into technology. So I don't think we should just jump out there with saying, look, this is probably going to save us money in the long run.
Yeah, if you don't wouldn't mind, just give me can you hear me? Yeah, here you go. Give me on to the next agenda. I mean, we've gone through it. Let me put those numbers together because yeah, I agree. We should have the complete picture. I mean, this is a good step one based on that
Yeah.
goal, showing what we can do. And let's make sure that, like yourself, I don't want to waste money and I don't want to hurt our citizens. So
How big is our agenda for next Thursday or next Tuesday?
not big. Yeah. I'll get it.
Can you get us those numbers by Tuesdays and put it on the agenda for that? And then we've already had the discussion
Right.
about the website, but all we'll do is discuss the numbers and it'll be open to the residents and what the results of that is. And
Yes, sir.
take a vote at that time. Okay,
That is this one. Thank you so much.
Next thing on the agenda is the building options presentation, again by Bill Shanahan.
He's busy.
You want us to call the police department?
Call Aaron Miller.
Go down on the bottom where the very bottom.
PowerPoint thing is.
There you go.
Point icon.
That didn't do you any good, did it?
When I'm getting out to get to the next one. Gotta find it.
There you go.
Just 1 second. Next time I have too many, I'm gonna bring Pepsi. Hello again. Would like to talk about the Surfside Municipal Complex Structural Update. And as you know, and I'm gonna do a little bit of a history on this one because again, we're live streaming it. And we want to make sure that our citizens know exactly what we're doing and, you know, why we're doing it and such. You know, in November 2020, we started getting complaints from our staff talking about moldy smell in town hall. In addition, we started seeing black substances on the wall of the courthouse, the police department. Well, police department was more of the books and stuff. Town hall, planning and civic center. And we also had a couple of staff complain about getting headaches when they went in some of the facilities. And so we decided to bring in Phoenix Enviro Corps to evaluate our facilities. And we found some interesting things. In the town hall, we conducted a background air sampling and we looked at the clerk's office, the mayor's office, the second floor right rear offices, women's rear central bathroom, closet under the stairs, and a server room. And we found and identified several types of airborne mold spore levels. And the mold company Phoenix basically directed us that before we do any implementation of mold remediation, that we need to find out why we had the mold. We need to find out what was causing it, where the leaks, the moisture, humidity issues were. And because we did this in the past, we paid a little, somewhere around the $50,000 mark, and we cleaned the mold up, and we're back to where we started from, if not worse, because we didn't fix why the mold was here. And also, so we started looking of why, you know, where the mold, what was causing it. And in reference to the town hall, we, you know, and there's other things we'll talk about, but, you know, where the town hall was connected to the council chambers, one done, we don't know if it was done incorrectly or it's just broken down over time. But, you know, we've got leakage all around the connections and maintenance of this stuff is not being addressed in a lot of time, a lot of years. So we took a look at the courthouse and we identified surface mold, elevated moisture readings, and high RH levels in the courthouse. And the mold growth on the exterior walls was due to moisture and or air infiltration coming from the building via the exterior siding and the slab. And again, the Phoenix told us that you got to fix that. You got to fix what's causing it before you start cleaning up. If not, it comes back. So we took a look at the planning, building, and zoning, and again, we identified an elevated airborne mold spore level at the right front office. And Phoenix again jumped up and down and said, hey, you guys have got to fix what's causing this. If not, it's going to come back. And there's a reason I'm saying that over and over again. And then we looked at the Civic Center, and we again identified elevated airborne mold spore levels in the facility in all of the 5 areas in the Civic Center that we looked at. And again, Phoenix said you had to do that. So because Phoenix kept telling us you need to figure out what's causing it, we brought in structural engineers and tried to figure it out. And we found the following. The police department annex, they did have identified airborne mold spore levels, but it was mostly found in files and documents. And the mold was identified as being caused by the air conditioner and can be taken care of by removing that unit at a cost. We're saying 10,000. It's probably between 8 and 10,000 because costs keep jumping up. You know, some of the costs that we've had since we've started this have jumped up 20%. I mean, it's just amazing what's going on in the world today. The only other issue that this facility has is the roof, but we're not scheduled to replace that until the next year's budget. And we're hoping to get some of that rescue money to help us with doing with the police department. So other than that air conditioner and cleaning, we'll recommend leave this building alone. And the structural engineer found that some of the things that the remediation that has to be done in the town hall would be watertight windows and roof, install new 2x8 rafters, replace the roof deck on the north 1-story attic, install 4x4 timber posts, removal of ceiling to ensure correctly installed bridging, allowance for additional framing if joints joints are too long, or remove existing roof, furnish and install new roof, shoring, Simpson hurricane ties, and just for the hurricane ties for the 1-story attic, we're talking $275,000. And as you can see, as the structural engineers started jumping into these buildings, we're finding a lot of issues that probably should have been taken care of years ago. And I can't say who's responsible. It's not even important. What's important is we found these other issues on top of just the mold. And other road repairs that were needed that we hadn't costed out was the mold remediation, damaged second floor framing members, providing supplemental framing if the building is layout is modified, providing supplemental framing at the south 1-story attic, roof replacement over the entire building, and repair siding. And so there was a lot of issues that we found, and we'll go into it in a little bit more detail. In reference to the courthouse, some of the things that we found needed to be done was remove molded material, included all felt paper, remove mulch, clean and rejoint the brick. I'm gonna let you all read the third one because I'm silicon or whatever, sealant to the exterior brick surface, install waterproofing membrane to brick behind the studs, apply sealant to brick segment terminations, install flexible flashing at brick skirt wall, and just that one little the flexible flashes, we're talking 250,000. And then we also have other mold remediation from the areas other than the vicinity of the brick skirt wall. And it is there because you know what, when we were opening up the wall to look, every time we opened the wall up someplace, we found more mold inside. Installation of hardscape or installation of a French drain wall, because the way it's set up now, and correct me if I'm wrong, Eric, it kind of puts when the water comes down, it kind of puts it back into the building itself. So we have to add this French drain system. And then the Civic Center planning, mold remediation, about $85,000 here. The air conditioning system, roof and total cost at a minimum would be $252,300 because of the way it was built originally and the stuff they put inside it to fix I'm assuming to fix the other mold issues years ago. And there's also structural issues in the roof. We also have additional repairs. We have the envelope of the building. And then, of course, just the police department was that air conditioner, which would be $10,000. Total cost to fix existing problems does not include remodeling the space or updating to modern standards for needs and design of the office space. The repair cost is expected to be well over 1.5 million for the issues that we know about. This does not include the issues that we're going to find based on lack of maintenance, bad workmanship, and other structural issues. It does not count any problems that will be found after opening up the walls during demolition. Does not include the cost of cleaning the mold. Does not include extra space needed. Does not include the cost of the $252,000 for the Civic Center roof. Does not include town hall structural issues. This does not include also the time and expense of mobile offices that would need to be brought in to house the employees during demolition and repair, probably about $100,000 per year without the storage, electricity, and water and sewer. Now, structural engineers that we had come in recommended either a new building or rebuilding due to the repairs over 50% of the value of the facilities. The cost is expected to rise significantly based on the findings of our preliminary investigation. And what I'm saying there is every time we opened up something, we find structural issues. And based on this cost, our structural engineer basically said, you don't need to do it. You either need to knock it all down and rebuild or get something else. So what we did is we did an appraisal of the property to exclude the fire department area and to exclude the police department. And the appraiser basically said that the buildings were in such poor condition that they would not add to the price. So he didn't include them in the price. And he said the property is 1.668 acres and the property by itself is $415,000, the value. Of course, I've spoken to some real estate said that, well, if they were selling it, they would ask somewhere in that range. So I'm not saying to sell it, I'm just saying that's what it's worth. Now, we wanted to knock down and rebuild. When we started this program, we were doing $225 a square foot, and it's actually jumped up somewhere between $250 and $275 a square foot. So we put it at the $250. And if you do the total for just rebuilding what we have, then you'll see that it's $3,654,500 at a minimum. Demolition is somewhere around $1 million. And again, current cost is $250 a square foot. This doesn't count the time and money needed in testing for asbestos and the preparation of capping lines and preparing utilities. Excuse me. This does not include the expense of housing employees from anywhere between a year and 2 years to complete this project. And even though you demolish the buildings, you still have to clean the mold. So 8 years ago, it was $50,000. So, yeah. If you look at this, we're talking probably closer to $5 million. Then we looked at a new purchase, and I guess it's okay to say where now. Yeah, and what's the name of the building? We actually looked at the Coldwell Banker based on its size, its location, and the ability for us to move in pretty quickly. It is 10,200 square feet, 0.80 acres. It was built in 1998. It was listed at 1.2 million, which is $117 a square foot. The lot that adjoins the property in the back can be used for parking. It's kind of locked. Well, it's not kind of, we've got it locked, but it's based on whether council decide to move forward with it. It is not based on the county manager saying we're going to do, the town administrator saying that we're going to do this. All we've done is locked it in for y'all to make a decision. It would be Zone B as a hurricane zone. Due diligence has been conducted, and there's a couple of things found, small things, nothing major, no mold or anything like that. And the folks that are selling it said that they would handle, correct me if I'm wrong, all of that, make sure that all that was fixed. A mold inspection was conducted and it works. And we would have two choices if we did that. We would, in reference to a courthouse / a council facility. Choice number one would be to go in and knock out some walls and build it in-house downstairs. Our engineers, structural engineers say, could it be done? Yes, it could, but it would be very expensive. And it's not just, there's not a lot of load-bearing walls we have, it's wave walls. Did I get that right? Shear walls. I was close. And the reason I call them wave walls, when the hurricane comes in, they move and it stops the building from falling down. And so that makes it more expensive. However, we could also turn around and build a courthouse / council chambers in the back parking lot, which would probably add about $500,000 to the price. But what you got then is you got a facility that is built for what you all do and what the courts do. And we wouldn't have to chase anyone off for executive session anymore. So that could be done. And then you have a back lot that can be used for parking. And we have the possibility of being able to get this about 25 feet on the side for more parking if needed. I think the cost is good here, as well as the fact that we can move in pretty quickly and we wouldn't have to spend money moving people out of a building. And there are things that are going to be needed to be done, but it's big enough that you could get in and budget it and stretch out the things over time that need to be done, so we don't hit the town hard, with other than the building of the council chambers. Do we have funds available? Right now, we have an unassigned fund balance of $3 million, which means without going into the stuff you're supposed to have for emergencies, you've got $600,000. We have a land fund which has about $400,000 in it. We have a capital replacement fund that has $600,000 in it. That's $1.6 million. We have, and this would also be used if you decide to build or fix. I mean, same fund for any of that. You have a disaster fund that has $1.2 million in it that would take a supermajority vote to release some of that by you guys. And then the current property, if you decided to sell it, we could get somewhere around $1 million for it. So could we do it? Yes, we could do it. Rebuilding or fixing, we might have to borrow some, but those are the numbers. And so that's where we're at. We're supposed to go into executive section to talk contracts. And if you want, I don't mind providing a recommendation before we go into executive session, because I'm gonna go strictly by the numbers. I mean.
Mr. Mayor?
Mr.
Yeah, I just have one question. FEMA has a new requirement that says essential operations cannot be located in a flood zone A. Did we verify or check that we can even rebuild a facility on this side of 17?
We have been trying to get that information. That's one that I have asked that question, and I have not gotten that report yet.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
Number one, I think I brought this up before, the accessibility to that building, and it had been mentioned that there was property surrounding it that the town could possibly purchase. Do we have cost figures on what that is going to be?
The one in the back is about $85,000, and the one on the side, I'm not sure. They didn't actually. We're not 100% sure they even want to sell it to us because they've got some plans. But of course, they like the fact that the government bill will be there, so hopefully we can get them on our side on that.
The property next door was for sale for over a year, almost 2 years, and it didn't sell. So they took it off the market. So I'm sure that the owner would entertain an offer on it, but I don't know.
Yeah.
But when it was
I agree. They're gonna.
when it was on the market, it was on the market for $280,000.
But the market has changed right now.
Yeah.
Things are selling for a lot more than
Sure.
what their actual value is.
Yes, ma'am. I agree. And you got to be careful. You don't want to get sucked into something.
That's right.
That we buy it in 3 years, we lose money on
Yeah. 2002 all over again.
it. Yes. But. So we've been working hard collecting numbers. It's amazing, number one, how hard it is to get people to come in and look at this stuff. But even more amazing is how hard it is to get professionals to put their name on something. But we've stayed on him, and Eric has worked his butt off, and he has done a really good job and helped me get all this stuff. So, yeah, I think I do thank him for what he's done. And, now comes the hard part, figuring out next steps.
I have one more question. The HVAC system in that building over there, do we know the age on it and the condition of that? Because that has the tendency to cause mold issues.
Yes, ma'am. Basically, they're at different ages because as one went out, they replaced the one that went out. They actually have one air conditioner that's in bad condition, and they've already told us that if we move forward with this process, that they will replace it for us. Yeah, I listened.
What about all the technology wiring and stuff? Is all that going to have to be replaced?
We would have to upgrade some of the telephone lines and some of the computer lines, and the correct word, you said about $25,000. Yeah, that actually, yeah. And that might be a little bit high, but I don't wanna tell you it's gonna be 15 and end up being 25. I'd rather be a little bit over and drop it down. And that would not take that much time to do it. If you all went that way, we could probably have people in in the month, would you say?
Hoping for at least a month after if people decide.
Yeah, if you want, so.
So, Mr. Mayor, just to summarize, to repair what we have with, the severe structural issues and the mold contamination, all in temporary facilities while everything's being done, we're probably 2.5 million. Is to repair what we have, and understanding that we have additional expenses to bring in some temporary space for operations.
Yes, we're looking at that, but we may not even be able to, there's so much that needs to be repaired that we may not be able to repair it.
Okay. All right, but that's, $2 to $3 million to rebuild, provided FEMA will let us put a critical facility in Zone A. We're looking at almost 5 million, considering temporary facilities and demo and so forth. And to buy the new property, we're looking at 1.5 to 2. And we can be in 30 days, no temporary facilities required.
Yes,
Is
ma'am.
that correct assumptions here?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Does anybody have any further questions of Mr. Shanahan? All right, thank you for your presentation. Did you want to make a recommendation?
I would, yes, and it's hard to make recommendations like this because, I understand the historic value of this facility, I really do. And this is a part of what makes Surfside Beach, and I understand that. However, I was asked to look at the numbers, look at the safety, what is best for the town based on the information that we collected. And I have to go with the other building to purchase it and to move forward and to turn it into the town hall that we need for the future. And if y'all want to go the other way, we'll do whatever y'all want because y'all in charge, of course. But that would have to be my recommendation based on the information that we've collected over the last couple of months.
Do we have a date that we actually did the inspections and found that there was mold in our facilities?
He would probably have all of them. I don't know if he's got them at him, but
Was
in a
it,
couple of months. We started looking in what month was it?
I was thinking it was like in March.
It could have been, and so it's been about that much, which is why everybody's over there. We've gotten it the least mold, and some of the areas didn't have it or didn't register any mold. And again, but as important as, maybe even more important than the mold, is the conditions of the building and safety of the building. That none of you or our citizens or any of your current staff had any control over. It was just, it wasn't done right. And when they cleaned the mold, they didn't figure out how to stop it.
Have we had any professionals come over and actually done testing and stuff to see if our employees that are still in that building are in harm's way?
Well, we've just done testing that we've had, yes, sir. If you'll want to move forward with rebuild and all that as quickly as possible, we need to get trailers there and move everybody out.
Well, and we're one storm away from the structural integrity being totally compromised as well.
Yes, ma'am. In fact, that is pretty serious to our engineers.
So the sooner the better a decision is made and get moving on it.
Yes, ma'am. And we've got everything locked in for the end of this month, but after the end of the month, it'll be close. Might be a little after the end of the month.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you. Next thing on the agenda is the executive session. Do I have a motion for that?
Good. Well,
Mr. Mayor, I recommend that we go to executive session in pursuit of the Freedom of Information Act 30-4-70 to discuss negotiation and potential proposal, contract arrangements, and proposed purchase of property.
Do I have a second to that?
Second.
Okay, any discussion before we vote? Ms. Scholes,
Yes.
Holder,
Yes.
Keating,
Yes.
Pellegrino,
Yes.
Drake,
Yes.
and myself is yes. We're going to be going into executive session. We welcome you all to wait. I don't know how long we're going to be, but we'll call if everybody's outside. We'll call you when we get done, and we'll open the session when we get back. So I need a motion to, or I need to vote to go into executive session.
This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, it is 11:25 and we're back from executive session into the,
Do I need a motion? Do I need to make a motion to enter back in public session?
go ahead.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to re-enter public session of the special meeting today, Tuesday, July 6th at 11:25.
Second?
Second.
Okay, and all those in favor?
Aye.
All right, this meeting is back in session. During the executive session, we discussed our different options and we basically earlier in executive session and after executive session, we authorized the town administrator to negotiate in the best interest of the town. Today we had some discussion about it and we asked that those negotiations continue. So we are basically, he is going to continue those negotiations and it will be on the agenda for this Tuesday. So for a disposition on it. So that is the result of the executive session. And with that, I need a motion to adjourn.
I'm making a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
This meeting is adjourned.